Okay, folks, here we are. This is what this desk turned into, a disaster. Well, I know some of you guys' desk looks like this, but I can't think in an environment like this. So as always, we're gonna put this stuff away so we can get back to being reasonable. This morning we're going to prioritize putting the flags, finishing the flags and putting them on the Russian knights. That's what the plan is. Take this stuff away. These guys will come out shortly. The next project I'm working on. Well, we need to get them out of the way right now. Well, that's loud. Jeez. It's almost 6 in the morning, so I don't want to wake anybody up for multiple reasons. All right, let's clean our area here. All right, now we can think. Just put these guys away in a box. These guys will be up soon. The only reason I started working on them is the flags weren't ready, and I wanted to keep working on stuff, so. Always work on something. I don't want to sit around and get distracted by something else. Now, can we use this? Yeah, this one's not too bad. All right, let's flip this thing around. All right, let's flip this thing around. And I should probably be good right about there. I just want to be all limpy, huh? Okay. All right. Get out of here. All right. All right, so what do we have here? Well, we have these flags here on that we're going to need to trim up. Oh, this thing all bent a little bit. Well, we're going to trim it up. Should be glued completely. And we're going to paint the edges of them in black. And attach them to the stands. That's at least what the plan is. So we need to go in here and trim any extra white off of them. These are Little Big Man Studios flags. And I'm actually gonna go and I'm gonna be super anal retentive. Can't imagine what this would be like if I wasn't organized. It's bad enough as it is. The problem is it's a pain when you got to move one thing to get to something else. And I've got my little tray here. looking for an even fresher X-Acto knife board. I could probably use the one I have right there. It's not too bad. But I didn't put it back in the cart. Ugh. Okay, ever feel like you need a drill sergeant living with you to straighten you out? Okay, this thing's pretty sharp, but we're going to go ahead and get an even sharper one because we're going to do some precision. Now, I'm going to put this one handy because when we start doing the next thing, we want a sharp X-Acto knife. We want to use this one. We're not going to dump this one just yet, so should be all right over here. So for those of you guys across the pond, I think this is a regular work day. I don't think there's a Memorial Day over there. So we'll see if a Monday painting session, anybody joins us. I know lots of people, not lots of people, I know several people that do painting things on Monday. And they get a lot of viewers across the pond, so we'll see. And in other parts of the world. All right, let's take this little guy off. Kevin, well, you're not across the pond, you're across the prairie. Good morning to you. Man, you're a late night partier, aren't you? Happy Memorial Day. All right. I'm not sure. Are you retired? You know, if I was retired, I'd still wake up at this time. I like waking up at 5 a.m. It works for me. It works for me really well. All right, so let's see what we need to clean up on here. Cut that even with the top. Okay, perfect. And then this is going to be the critical one. Because if I cut it even with one of these, and I cut it really good, but the other side ends up being skewed a little bit, I'll end up cutting too much of that color. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it in stages. I'm going to get close on both sides and maybe have to leave it at that and then just paint one side black. That's the problem with this, is as precise as I can, even as precise as you can get, you can never get it quite right. So that's what my intent going to be. All right. Disabled. Okay. Sorry to hear that. But if I remember correctly, you're a veteran. If so, thank you for your service. Although, no, wait a second. I have to get them right. Is Memorial Day is for the fallen and Veterans Day is for the veterans. It doesn't matter. It never hurts to thank veterans. Even if you're not a veteran, I'm still thanking veterans. So, you know, doing an impossible job. All right, we're going to get, let's start from easy to difficult, okay? And let's get close here. All right, let's see how we did. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit more. Hey, I may make a mistake. I can live with it, you know? I try to do things right, but, you know, things happen. So sometimes life has other plans. Okay, that's pretty close. And that's pretty close. Man, they look pretty even to me. The size and that one. I think let's try to go up against the black then. You know what? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's try doing the same thing that I did on this side and see if it's equivalent. And if so, then we have a hit. So let's leave a little bit of white space there. This is like a point of no return. If you do it wrong, there's no going back. It's not like I can repaint my way out of this one. All right. Pretty even white space on both sides. Let's flip it. That's pretty close. All right, let's give it a let's try it. This is why I wanted to get a fresh X-Acto knife blade. See how we did. Jeez. My finger's that fat. Yeah, it's going to be about as good as it's ever. I bet none of them will come out as even as that one. Can't complain about that one. That's the problem, is these are so small. And cut. Okay, that's going to be probably about as close as I'm going to be able to get. So there it is. This is a lance. Is it pennant? Pennon? A lance pennon, I believe, is the correct terminology. All right. Only problem when you cut these little flags and stuff, you leave all these little bits of paper everywhere. All right. Let's do the same methodology here. We're going to try to get close and then trim again. So we'll leave a little bit of white space there. Come over here. Leave a little white place there. Okay. Now, let's see if what the other side looks like. See, there's more white space here on this side. Well, you probably can't see it. There's a little bit more white space here below the pennon than there. So what you do is you get on the side that's the closest and you trim that one. Man, I was not expecting this to be so finicky to handle. Let's move this farther out of the way. All right, we need to drink coffee. Mr. Cog, good morning. In the land of IKEA, Volvo, and Saab. Did they discontinue Saabs? I don't see them anymore. I remember they were big in the 80s. Well, it's a Sweden known for. ABBA. Those Swedish S-tanks. That's it, I'm out. I could say the meatballs, but that kind of goes hand in hand with IKEA. Yeah, this is the more meat there, so let's go to the short side and trim up here. I just don't like this thing shifting on me. The chef, of course. What else? That's it. I'm out. You guys need to do a better job of advertising your country. uh, I'm sorry, I don't know anything else about Sweden. Seems like a nice place. Oh, the girl with the dragon tattoo. Yeah. I think I saw the first one. I never got around to seeing the other. I started seeing the second one and didn't really captivate me. I don't know. Those might be things you're not proud of. There's certainly things that happen in this country that I'm not proud of. Yes, the cars are discontinued. The Saab military industry is still going. That's right. They made those. What was the name of that jet? The Saab Viggen. Now everybody's going to that Eurofighter. Have Eurofighter porn films. Really? I can't say that I've seen any Swedish porn films. No doubt that there are some. There are some in every country. Now, see, here I've got a dilemma. All right. I tried to fold this yesterday really even. So I came really close to this edge right here on this side. But if you flip to the other one, there's lots of white space. So I can't cut it back because if I do, I'll end up going through this. So what I'm going to do is when I get to this side, I'm just going to have to paint this little area black. There's just nothing I can do about it. And that's just, the nature of the beast. You know, there's just nothing I can do. Now, this bottom side, they look pretty even, so we can cut this closer, but I can't do anything on that one side. That's why you got to be careful, because I don't know that I could have been more precise when I did this yesterday. But, you know, I'm sure the original is even. It's just, human error. You can only do so much. So it's not that big of a deal. Vigan is the old one. Yeah, yeah, that big. They had their unique thing. Grippin. Okay, I don't know that I've seen that one. Well, you know how you find out about modern planes is you war game modern stuff, and I don't. If I had to do modern gaming, and I use it in quotes, I would probably do something involving something in Europe, say pre either really late 1950s or really early 1960s. So you could do those American tank battalions that had the M103s. You could do heavy tanks and stuff like that. I mean, if that was what I was tempted to do, I don't want to do, stuff with Abrams or anything like that, but that would be cool. Okay, let's do the same thing here, and hopefully we have different results. It's not the end of the world. These will look plenty good. Let's get close there and close there. ABBA, that's what your country's known for. The thing about let's see, when I was big in the late 70s, I was like 8 or 9, right? I was born in 71, so I remember all the disco music. And people like to rip on the disco music. But I'll tell you what, the problem isn't the music as much as the stuff people wore. Man, you guys were all on drugs or something. You had to be. I've said that all the time. I say it frequently that some things don't make sense to me, but I've never done drugs. So maybe if I did, maybe some of those things would make sense. See, we have the same little problem here. We're even here, okay? But we got white space there. It is what it is, you know? It's just, and it looks like we're even on the bottom here, but we got white space there. Well, we'll just have to trim that up in black. What are you going to do? You know, you make your best effort. You make your best effort. You cut first and fold. I didn't dare doing it. I've done that before and I can't line up the tails. They're just really small. The sod play factory is 5 minutes walk from my house. Cool. All right, 2 left to go. And the triple tail ones. Yeah, I tried to cut the tails one time and it was a nightmare for me. See, I'd rather just paint the flags. I'd rather, I mean, if they weren't durable, if it wasn't a durability issue, I would rather just paint them on like little flag things like this. Because, well, for starters, I enjoy painting flags. Now, they wouldn't have this kind of deep. I could do something like this. Well, maybe without, well, I could do detail here, but it wouldn't look as like that. But, you know, I couldn't do that. So, yeah, it'd be more simplified. But, you know, they don't need to be more complicated. Oh, so this is my German foot knights that fight in the Russian army, okay? We're going to show these guys off for a little bit. Hey, look, I sidetracked myself. What else is new? So this is a combination of figures. This is a minifigs. Good morning, Neil. This is a minifigs. This guy is a museum. This guy is a Merloton. Here's another minifigs. This guy these are all based on the heraldry of some figures that are on the Codex Manesse, I believe is what I spelled, or Manesse. I don't know. You can look it up. It's a great codex from the early 1200s or the mid 1200s. And some guy in the back, this is proof that I'm getting old. I don't remember. I don't believe I made this up. There's a guy with dice on his shield. And when I found that out, I'm like, I gotta have that guy as one of them. And of course, we didn't put a 1 on his die. You know, we don't want to piss off the dice gods. But I don't believe I made that up. I would have made up something more simple and plausible. But all these guys are. I'm actually really proud of these folks. I'm not sure how they're going to fight, but yeah, this is the German knights that are in the Russian army. They can actually be dismountable or exchangeable because they're a single slash from battle to battle. So if you go to a tournament, at least the way it's played here in the States, you have both of these units as one. And when it's time to deploy, you deploy as one or the other. But you don't have to commit until it's your time to deploy. But you have to deploy as one or the other, and then you're stuck like that for the rest of the game. But I'm not going to paint the actual amount of German stuff because this army already has 5 knights. What do I need a 6th one for, right? I'd rather have the blade. So, anyhow. All right. Yeah, for those of you guys in Europe, there's no Memorial Day. This is just a standard. There's just a standard Monday for you guys, right? I think so. You guys getting back to normal over there in the old countries? We didn't have that many restrictions here in Florida. We had some, but not very many. It's almost like self-imposed. Like if places wanted to be really restrictive, they kind of let them decide for themselves. But I went in a store yesterday and I commented that it's starting to feel like America again. But hopefully you guys are getting back to normal. It's a bank holiday for us. Okay. That means people that have real jobs work and bankers sit around counting their coins. It's a good thing there's not like a lawyer's holiday. Oh man. Okay. I think this one's pretty even as opposed to the other ones. I think these turn out really even. Look at the white space there. And now let's look at the white space there. It's pretty even. So let's try to get it closer. See if we can get away with it. Orthodox iconography. Never gotten a chance to go to an Orthodox service. I think it'd be pretty cool. I love their art. There's um there's a little shrine. Is it a shrine? I don't know. We'll call it a shrine. In St. Augustine. St. Augustine's only an hour and a half from us. In the middle of the old town on St. George's Street. And it's a little Greek Orthodox shrine. And they've got this little dome thing with all the hand painted stuff. And cool place to go to. I like all the hand painted things. I'm not Greek Orthodox, but if I was, I would not be an iconoclast. I like the art and stuff. I guess those guys would be like the Puritans of Greek Orthodox. No fun at parties, those guys. I was reading about, or I was listening to Byzantine history a while back, and it's like, man, so much of it is based on that, you know, iconoclasm and stuff like that. I don't know. I like the art. It's cool. And I've never been to one of those Greek festivals. We have several Greek cities around here. Not that this is Greek, but it is, but it isn't. Byzantine. New Smyrna Beach and Tarpon Springs are both have big Greek communities and Greek festivals, but never gone to one of them. I love that kind of food. So actually, we all do. Everybody here. Did I just screw up bigger than shit? I did not. Whew. I thought I pulled off the top layer. I better be careful here. I don't want to diss the Madonna here. Uh-oh. What am I doing here? Let's pull this back. Yeah, see, even gluing the whole thing back, the tails are starting to come across off of each other. That's there. Whew. I'm going to trim the edge here in black, paint it really lightly, so that we don't have a capillary disaster. Let's see, can we do anything with the middle one? Not a whole lot. Get any closer, we're going to run into issues. Okay. And can we trim that anymore? Maybe a little bit. Okay. Yeah, you guys need to get back to normal, man. We need to move on. I am not jealous to not live over there. Wasn't there a battle in Sweden where one side had outdated armor? So in the Middle Ages, the Scandinavian countries were kind of, compared to the rest of Europe, were delayed in their armor development. That didn't mean that the armor that they had wasn't as effective, or maybe it did, but they ended up like running nasal helms and Norman style armor, maybe an extra 100 years then. But ended up doing all that stuff. So yeah, I've got my Norwegian and my Swedish armies are have older style armor than their period by only by 100 years. It's not a huge type difference, you know. Um, I would think it'd make a bigger difference on the troop quality than anything else. Uh, Andy, good morning. Harvey, oh, everybody's in. Oh, it's good. We're getting all the Europeans in here. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, this ended up twisting a little bit. And it's just, like I said, I like this stuff. I just don't like what I got to do sometimes. You know, I don't see this is even here at the top, and it's not exactly there. So we're just gonna have to paint that black. It just is what it is, you know. All right, let's go ahead and trim this close. This has seemed like a really long weekend for me because we started doing weekend stuff on Friday evening. So almost feel like I've gotten an extra day in. I don't go in till tomorrow. It's going to be a zoo of a week. I can tell you that much. We got a big project going on, but I don't talk about work when I'm not there. So, and I usually don't think about it when I'm not there. Otherwise, I might go crazy. Let's just say I am not someone who is defined by what they do for a living. I know lots of people are, and that's good for them, but I don't think about what I do when I'm not there. My dad was more than I am, definitely. Okay, let's see how we did. I'm defined more by this than anything else. Oh, man, we're going to be way off. Wow. Look at this one here. Look how much white space there. And there's not that much. Okay, well, that means we got to cut up against that one. Wow. Yeah, you know, it's imperfect, you know? And I know it's got to be really difficult for people because I'm not going to try to pat myself on the back, but I know I'm more patient than most people. You see how long it takes me to paint stuff. I'm pretty patient when it comes to this. And it's just, oh well. It is what it is. We're just toys. All right, we should be able to cut. All right, let's start at the bottom so we don't get screwed. Look, and it's coming undone. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with these. It's a good product, but man, it is really unforgiving. Even trying to be precise. We'll fix that up later. We got to start on one end. So let's start on this end. We're even here, and we're not even. Well, we can't do anything about it. Let's flip to the bottom side of that. Lots of meat there, not hardly enough. So we got to cut on the not hardly enough side. I know this has got to be frustrating for a lot of people. Maybe if you do in 25 millimeter, it's less frustrating, but they have a good product. It's just not very forgiving. And the tails, all it took is for me to try doing the tails one time. Yeah, and then I can't cut on that side, so I have to leave that one the way it is. And then this one below it, there's lots of meat there, so I can cut on this one. I may just leave it alone, so when I paint black, at least it's even on this side. The best flags I've ever had. Now, keep in mind, mine's limited to what's available for periods I'm interested. Like, for instance, there may be somebody who makes really good flags that are Napoleonic. Well, I don't do Napoleonic, so I'll never experience that. But is Pete's Flags. Pete's Flags stuff. He's, of course, he's in the UK. Duh. It's where all the good hobby stuff seems to come from. And, but his flags are phenomenal. Let's see. This one, lots of meat there. Let's try getting a little closer here. It's these tails, man. Yeah, I did one where I tried to line the tails up and it was impossible. It was damn near impossible. And I'm like, we're not doing it that way again. My Chinese, my Sung Dynasty, I hand painted that because you guys heard me talk about Asian armies. I love painting Asian armies. They have such character and uniqueness. But their flags suck. In other words, they're not as exciting as the army is. They usually just have a banner, has a character on it that says, "We are the Sung Chinese," or whatever. You know, they don't have a cool dragon or anything like that. So this particular flag that I needed to do for my Sung Chinese has these tails. But it was so simple I could hand paint it. So what I did was I took like a square. It might even be on video one time. I don't know if I painted my Chinese on video. I may have. I just did a big square and glued it so the whole thing is glued. And then afterwards, I went and cut the things out. And of course, they're even because I cut them by hand while both pieces are together. But you can't do that if you're trying to do a pattern and then line up the corners. It's impossible. It's too finicky, man. You know, you got to go in there and you got to get a tiny little micro person to come in and do that. So I'm unfortunately, this is probably as good as it's going to get. There's going to be that much white space on here. So it's just, it is what it is, you know, it is what it is. Luckily, this is not a life or death situation. It's just toys we're playing with. Yeah. Can't do any more on that one. The middle one, can't go any closer there. Lots of meat on the bottom of that one. No meat there. Can't do anything. Top one there, even. Bottom, can't touch it. Okay. It is what it is. All right. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and get our white glue out. Like I said, this is unscripted. Things are just going to go sideways sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. Maybe somebody will watch this and go, "Oh, that's the same crap I go through." Yeah, it happens to me too. You guys look at pictures of people online. You know, you look at some beautiful painted miniatures or whatever. And then it'll be like, "Oh, these are perfect. There's nothing wrong with them." No, they encountered all kinds of problems. They just hid them from you. It happens. It just happens. I don't uh, I don't mind showing my trials and tribulations. We all have them, and well, trials and tribulations with hobby stuff. You know, it's just something that's gonna we all have. And somebody find a brush that can't wait till I'm done with all these brushes from that place. I won't buy anymore. I thought of just breaking them all in half and doing a video of that, but I don't feel like being wasteful. But I will not be buying things from certain places, from a certain place in the world. That's my MO now. If I can avoid it. I just bought a car recently, and I'm sure there's parts from that part of the world in there. You know, it's not like I'm going to go on foot, but I did order some headlights, and I went out of my way to get ones that weren't made there. So you do what you can. If you want to, if you don't want to, that's fine too. Okay. Next. I think what I'm going to do is, for stability purposes, I'm going to go ahead and put these guys on the the figure that they're going to go on, and then we will paint the edges, because if I paint this like this, I have nothing to hold on to. If I slide them on this pole, they're not tight enough on there. They're going to slide on me. They're going to cause problems for me. So maybe I put this down prematurely. But let's pick who's who in the Russian army. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So let's pull our knights out here and not drop them. You know, if I break my things, at least I know how to fix them. So, God, this chair's creaky chair for no reason. And I've lost weight, so there's no reason for that to be. It's not like I'm overloading this thing. Well, I probably still am. All right. Here is the Russians. All right. So, and we need to get one more guy out here. He is the spear guy. All right. We already did his flat way back when. Okay, that's this one here. And I think I glued it on, but it got too loose or something like that. So let's start off by gluing that down. Let's move this. You know what? We'll probably just do this. Okay. There we go. All right, so we're going to glue this in place. All right. Those of you guys that are in the UK, man, you guys need to manufacture more stuff so we can buy. It's so difficult to find UK products. I know I should talk, right? There's nothing made in this damn country either. I went to a hobby store in Jacksonville the other day, and they had a lot of Games Workshop products, which a lot of I don't play Games Workshop games, but a lot of their products are high quality. Yeah, they're expensive, but okay, whatever. I mean, how many times do you need to buy files, right? Needle files. Well, unless you lose them, probably never, you know. But they had some tufts there that were kind of a unique shape because they weren't like round, they were shaped amoeba like. And I'm like, I'll pick some of these things up. They were fairly expensive, but they're like $20, $25, something like that. Maybe there were less. Anyways, this Games Workshop stuff, it's expensive. You got to pay for all their advertising. And I looked at it, and it was made in China. And I'm like, why, if I'm buying a Chinese product, why is it this expensive? You know, it didn't make any sense to me. So I didn't buy it because I'm not buying stuff from there. But, their paints are made in the UK. You can make them anywhere. You can make them in India. Just don't make it in China, or I'm not going to buy it. So, not until they straighten their shit out, which is never going to happen. So, it can be made by Chinese people. They just can't be, part of that government monopoly. Okay, so this is where he's going to go on, and we may be able to twist this a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that because the alternative is you twist it ahead of time, and then it doesn't glue properly. So That's what that one's going to go on. We're just going to slide them where they go, and then once we like how that looks, then we'll glue them down. So we got the general stand there. All right. And God, it's like a sorry pirate ship. All right, let's look at these guys here. This is how I make decisions, just kind of on the fly. All right. So we've got the most exciting one that has mother and child. That's annoying. Creak, crack. You could put it on maybe the guy that has a mother and child on his shield. That would make sense, right? But that may be too much of a good thing. Let's just slide it there for now. And we've got this guy. We don't always want to put it on the one in the center. That kind of, well, it's not in that case. Oh, this guy also has mother and child. Okay, well, we don't want to put it on the guy going forward, so maybe this figure here. We'll slide this one on there. Let's pop this up a little bit. Okay. And we can worry about twisting them or whatever later. The purple one. Great. Where did we go? Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty patient, and things still go sideways. Where did it go? All right, short intermission. We turn a light on here. Got a little mag light. Well, that's worthless. Really? It's purple. Why don't I see it down here? Let's turn on the big light. I'll say it again. Just imagine the problems I'd be having if this place was a mess. Doubt it. I've seen some painting tables that are like a zoo. I honestly don't know how people get anything done on it. All right. Yeah, I know some people are having a hell of a time with this stuff because I'm patient and look at all the stuff that still happens. Well, when I paint, nothing like this happens. It's always all good. All right, so we got a guy over here on the left. We got one in the middle. We need to get a guy on the right. And this guy would be all right. Let's just slide his down. Okay. And for good measure, we'll just slide him in the middle one. Now, let's take a look and see if I'm happy with that distribution. Wait, what happened to these guys? Am I missing one? Well, I'm not doing another flag, so somebody will just get stuck with no flag. How did I not do that right? One, two, oh, because this one's got two. Jeez. You guys need to keep an eye on me. Okay, this guy's got, I knew I had counted right. I can count to 5. Um, this guy has the same type of sheet symbol here. Let's just slide it on that. All right, let's see if we like that distribution. Now, one thing I need to look at that somebody took me to task is they said that when you do a flag, it's got to be connected to the top here, which seems a lot higher than I would have wanted to. So let me just do a little search here and see if lance pennons are the same way. I have a feeling they're not. Lance pennons. And do images. They may be the same way. Doesn't seem like it. They don't look right being all the way at the top. Either that or a lot of people did their figures wrong too. Okay. Let's open this back up where we were. Okay. All right, so we'll do it on this one so I don't get taken a task on it. All right, let's glue the big nasty one first. And this is the point where that's why I don't worry too much about putting a piece of aluminum foil in there. There's so many things already going on with trying to get this thing right that you know, if I was hand painting this thing, what I would do is I would just do it blank. And it already dried up a little bit. All right, let's get this on here. This is expensive stuff, man. I don't want to waste too much of it. I don't want to waste anything. It's not my intention to be wasteful. It's just dumb. You just have to go and buy more. It doesn't benefit anybody. All right. So we're going to roll this thing. We're going to put this thing about here. So we're going to go ahead and put. Now this is already sealed. So if this doesn't turn out right, it shouldn't, it's not like the paint here is going to come off or anything. We need to go a little bit thicker on that glue than I would have wanted to gap fill this a little bit. Okay. That's enough bend for me. I don't want to go crazy and have these little things pop and so forth. Although, speaking of pop, okay. All right. Next, set this guy off to the side. How are we doing on this one that we have over here? We good? Yeah. Now I remember, I couldn't remember what I did. I ended up using the water-based brush-on sealer, the acrylic, so that if it bent or anything, it wouldn't crack and the stuff flake off. So I have a whole bottle of acrylic flat that I hardly ever use, except this. It's like I found a use for something I already have. All right, this guy here. And we're probably going to go down a little bit like that. Okay. So let's just put a little dab. Open this up a little bit. You guys did not watch yesterday. I had these little pins and I folded and glued it around. I ended up holding the end of it as I was folding it with this, so there's no way I can get glue under the very edge, on the very end, and then I just slide it on here so that we can pre-do that. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's how I've done it, and it works for me. I don't need to convert anybody to how I do it, but sometimes people are like, man, I really don't like the way I've been doing things. Are there other methods? Well, let me show you how I do it, and maybe it works for you. And if it doesn't, okay, that's fine. I'm not into controlling people, you know? I don't need to convert anyone. You're happy the way you do things, keep doing it. That 2021 saying that I hear all the time. I don't hear it anymore, but I heard it a few months ago. It was really popular. Everybody was using it. You do you. Okay? You don't tell other people what to do. Mind your own business. As the Frenchman says, mind your own business. Okay? I don't think I like this one on the purple guy. We're gonna move him over to here. A little too much purple on here. Well, let me rethink that. Is it? I don't know. I put the Madonna on the guy that has the Madonna, so. All right, well, I talked myself back into it. It's not that important. One of my favorite things to do, though, is other than pick what figures I'm going to paint for variety, is after they're painted, who's going to ride with who on what stand. I like doing that. Let's make sure we don't put this on upside down. Correct. It's like a P. So the plan is these guys are going to do battle against the bad guys. I always like to say, whoever I'm playing is always the good guys. I'm a master of my own propaganda. And we'll have that filmed. Of course, we're not going to do it live, or I don't want to do the live because the quality is just not the same. So, all right, we're gonna let these things dry, and then we'll paint the edges in black. So, and then after you've done the edges in black, we'll dry brush some flat on them. Let me go ahead and get that flat handy. Who is it made by? I want to say it's this one back here. Oh, you know what? It might be this old crusty thing, this Model Master one. I mean crusty because flat clear, that's what it is. This bottle top is a royal bitch to get open. Model Master products aren't bad, but their bottles suck compared to everybody else's. There we go. Jeez. Yeah, this is just brush on clear acrylic. Yeah, them bottles suck. Maybe I should transfer this over into a Vallejo container. There's a thought. I might do that. I don't use that very often, though. I mean, the only thing I use it for is this, you know, when I don't want to put something, want to put something, but not get it all to bend and stuff. All right. All right. There we have it. They're done other than, well, they're done as far as I can do right now. I want them to dry a little bit more so they're not sliding on me while I'm trying to put a little bit of pressure on them and being black. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch back over to the next army coming up, which is the Papal States. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that all my knights are based in black, which of course involves me making a mess because for whatever reason that stuff I make a mess with. Or you know, I get a drop or two of paint where it's not supposed to be, and then we'll come back to these guys and finish these up. Okay, so let's just move these guys off to the side, and let's get the guys that cleaned them off the table back on here. Well, I'm not going to pull everybody back on here, but do I have any more plans for any terrain making videos? Well, I don't really have any new terrain since then. I don't. Videos like the terrain making video, like the basing one, take forever to do. The army showcase stuff, they just take a really long time to do. So no, I don't have any plans because that takes away from my painting. And that was actually the first video I made, was the how to make your terrain more interesting, or whatever it was. Making the video is actually okay. Editing the video is actually okay. It's compressing the video that is like, makes you want to like take it out on somebody. It just, too different. I don't know why it takes so freaking long. It just takes forever. That's where the problem arises. Editing actually isn't the issue. If you've never edited a video, you know how to do it. You know, like, okay, I want this to come in here and this wording, and I want it to fade away. It's, you know, you've watched TV programming, you know how it's done. And you've watched bad TV programming, so you know how it's not done. But it's super frustrating, you know. So no, I don't have any plans. What I may do them. What I have zero plans is another one, how to play the game. I'm not, you know, I happen to upload that video because we did it. If we ever teach a new player how to do it, we'll put those videos up. But a specific video on how to play the game, I'm not doing that because you could be as anal retentive as you want. You're still going to miss things. And it's extremely frustrating for me to not do a perfect job, you know, and I've said it before, the rules are a means to are a means to an end. They're not, I'm not playing them for the sake of knowing the rules better than the next guy or beating somebody by using the rules. I just want to paint figures. This is Vallejo Surface Primer, which my biggest gripe with this stuff is it's just freaking messy, and it's just for no reason. Where's my little plastic top here that I used to put things on? I'm telling you, I'm pretty organized. I've seen people's hobby desks, and I'm like, I don't know how you people live. You know, I wouldn't be able to do that. You know, with your painted cutting mats that distract, and I wouldn't be able to do it. Boy, this thing flew in here. But even with all that, I still have trouble flying. See if we could, let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. And let's see if we can open this up without making a mess. 8 drops should be enough. Put this down. Let's close this. Let's close this using the top so it doesn't spray. Okay, good. Whew. This stuff is great, but you know, I did a bit of house painting yesterday, painting trim in the house in 1-to-1 scale, right? And I did a pretty good job of not making a mess. But you know, doing this hobby, I never get paint on me. You know, I mean, unless you have a spill, something catastrophic happens. It just, it's pretty much mess free. You know, you could wear a tuxedo and still do this and be okay. But not this. I'm gonna get little splatterings of this stuff everywhere. That's why we got to cover this. I don't want a cutting mat with all kinds of crap on it. All right, so these were primered by somebody else. We're just going to go ahead and just give them the full treatment. If you've never used this Vallejo primer, it's really cool because it's like thinned down enamel black paint. It goes everywhere, it covers everything, and it's really thin. I don't know how protective it is. I haven't had any issues yet. But, oh, I see a booger problem. Now, we have this good knife. So we're going to take this blade and we're going to put it back down, and we're going to take the one that's a little not as good and put it in. There is a piece of flashing or something on his shield. So before we go any further, we don't want to deal with that later. Now, this is almost entirely, it's probably entirely a mercenary army. But that doesn't mean that they don't get issued shields and stuff like that that are for the Papal States. Now, that won't be the case with these knights, but it will be the case with the foot. So the foot in particular has 2 stands of spear. Both of the stands will each have a configuration on, all of their shields will be the same on each stand. So you have 4 guys with 1 shield and 4 guys with the other one. They very well could all have different clothes and stuff, and they could be different figures. I haven't narrowed that down yet, but the shields will be the same thing on all of them. So that they'll know that they're Papal States. And of course, we're trying to do something that's around the mid 1200s. So we've got a variety of armor. Some of these are a little earlier, but that's the idea that we're going to go with. So, hey, it's just playing with toys. So, And yeah, the Pope's probably going to be last. Sorry, folks, but we got to work our way up to that guy. Yeah, see, I've already got black on me. Not much, but I'm like, how does that happen? Well, because I'm just slopping this on, so to speak. You don't slop other paint on when you're doing the detail stuff. But so this stuff is it's some kind of polyurethane. It's more difficult to get off your hands. It's about as difficult to get off your hands as enamel, except you can't just use enamel thinner. But the brush is clean up with water, and it's thinned down to the point where it goes in all the crevices, kind of like thinned down enamel paint, that doesn't have a lot of bubbles that pop and then leave exposed white metal underneath that you've got to come back and touch up. You do have to do some touch up, but it's not much. It's even less than enamel when you do it. So I've just been using this stuff. I've been pretty happy with it. And I probably won't need to buy any ever again. It's that big of a container, and I paint that small a figure. So before that I was using Model Master Acryl Black, and then they stopped manufacturing it, and then I went to Model Master Enamel Black, and that stuff they stopped carrying it locally as well. So I needed to find something different, so I just Amazon this stuff, and well, that's that. There's another one. You have three different cutting mats. One is exclusively as a background for my videos. Awesome. He fell asleep for a bit, so there went my lunch break. Oh man, that happens to me. I'll have lunch, and like 10 minutes in, I fall asleep at lunch like an old person, like an old fat person. All right. Yeah, it happens to all of us. Like an old fat person. As I like to say, I may be overweight, but I'm only gamer medium. Man, there's some people in this hobby of ours that they need to get more exercise. Let's put it that way. I'm trying to do my part, but I remember before ever going to Historicon, people would complain that it was so difficult to cross. I'd never been, and people were like, "Oh yeah, you got to be careful crossing Highway 30. The traffic's really heavy, and and I'm there, and I'm like, man, you got to be really, you got to be in bad shape to not be able to cross that." But I don't live in a big city where you got to be, on foot and stuff. But let's get our exercise in. Just some cardio, you don't go crazy. I have a very comfortable painting area, but usually if I have to get up, well, let's go to the bathroom because I'm always drinking liquids while I'm painting. But it's because my butt gets tired, not my vision, not my hands. I'm not getting carpal tunnel from doing any of this stuff. It's relaxing for everything else except my rear end. Sometimes I just gotta get up and move around a little bit. So it's not as uncomfortable. It's not like like bed sores or anything like that. But even that one time where I painted for 10 and a half hours straight on video, that was an amazing day. I got a lot of stuff done. These videos help me get things done. So if you find them interesting or help you get things done, hopefully they do. Another guy here. Yeah, I like these steel pens, man. I got nothing to worry about now. I got nothing to worry about. They're never going to bend, and they're cheap. I've tried to buy the Zyston ones. Everybody's always out of them. I'm like, I've give up. I'm just like, I'll just paint like a tip on these. What I don't like is wire. I don't like if you buy like Old Glory figures. I don't know if they're the same in larger scales, but in 15 millimeter, a lot of like the cataphracts and stuff like that that have really long pokey things. It'll supply you with like piano, not, I don't know if it's piano or just regular wire, but I just assume use these pins because they do taper to a point. You got to hit the other one on a press and cut it down. I've seen other people do videos. I'm like, that's I don't have all that stuff. I don't have a workshop. I'm not a person that enjoys spending time in the garage. I've gotten a little bit better about it. Um, you know, I mean, I mow lawn and stuff like that, my own, but it's just way too hot in this place that I live to spend any time out there unless it's January. So I did try to do some tinkering yesterday. I had ordered some headlights for my car. Nothing crazy, not like I wanted to get them in pink or anything. I just wanted them brighter. I got 1 day shipping from Amazon. It's crazy. I ordered them yesterday morning before I went online, and I got them yesterday about 3 p.m. So they arrived in like 9 hours. That I don't let anybody talk shit about Amazon, man. They got their act together. I thought UPS was good. That's unbelievable. I mean, I would have gone to a store, but they don't. I checked the stores first. They don't carry stuff like that. So anyway, so I get the lights in, and and I just can't reach where they're at. I mean, looking at the manual, trying to get, I can reach the high beams, but the low beams, I've got to like pull the fender out, and I tried doing it, and it's just like, no, I, I, I gotta, I gotta have somebody else do this, you know, because my hands are just too big, and I've got average size hands, but you got things all crammed in there. But I was wanting to do some car tinkering, and you know, actually, it wasn't that hot. Um, Now, I guess after you're all already hot and sweaty, it doesn't matter more how much more hot and sweaty you get. But yeah, there's a lot of resources for like, hey, what light works in this? The problem is there's a lot of wrong information too. So you got to be, if it's a subject matter you're not familiar with, you got to be careful. Um, in gaming and this kind of stuff, this hobby stuff, doesn't matter if it's wrong information. If you've done it for a while, you're like, yeah, that's not how you do stuff. You know, or that doesn't work for me. But if it's something that you're new about it, you got to be careful. You don't get misinformed. All right, one guy left. You found carbon rod works great too for staffs and spears. Good morning, Private Kelly. Carbon rod. Where do you buy that? It sounds stiff but brittle. Tell me if I'm wrong. Um, if I did bigger figures, I might do the broom bristles. I think that's a pretty cool method. I can't do it for this. They're just too thick. But I thought that was pretty darn cool. I'm not a big fan of painting bendy things. I'm afraid of my paint flaking off. But the concept seems solid. It certainly seems cheap. So this is a really interesting army because one of the things it can have is it can have allies, and it can have multiple allies from multiple city states. And if you look at the army list, it's really weird. It could have 0 to 2 allies. Well, that means, you know, it could have only one allied city state or two. So, um, yeah, I don't looking forward to doing this. I have an Italian Condado army to do, and I didn't do it. I haven't done it because my buddy Joe, that I do play with fairly frequently, he built one. There's So when somebody builds an army that I know, there's no point in me building them. I mean, if I really want to do, it's not like they're going to keep me from building it, but the incentive is no longer there. You know, you get to see a different army in action. So I decided to do these guys instead. And these are also older school figures that don't get any love. So it's time to make these little old figures shine. These are table. Is it tabletop games these guys are? I think something like that. They're now sold by Alternative Armies. It used to be 15 millimeter Co UK, and Alternative Armies does them now. So it's flexible, easy to work with. Steel rod, next option at hobby stores. Yeah, I don't know where you would get carbon rod at. Yeah, hobby stores. What's a hobby store? I don't have those anymore. Not around here, unfortunately. Okay, we're gonna get some liquids. Amazon. Okay, let me check that out. Cool. Carbon rod. Excellent. Amazon. I hate doing business with them. Okay. I I love doing business with Amazon, but I'm really careful about what I buy. I make sure the vendor is not, from that place, and that the product doesn't come from that place. I'll be right back. Oh, I just realized something. Michigan Toy Soldier. Call Michigan Toy Soldier. Tell them what you need. They can get it. You're 20 minutes from now. Well, that's good. Do they have a storefront? That'd be pretty cool if they did. There was a big distributor in the 90s here in Florida called Modelers Mart. And I only got a chance to go there twice because they had a lot of ancients and stuff like that. And I wasn't into ancients then. And I didn't know any good rules for them. I just, back before the internet, you only can find out about things if someone near you had them. And they had a storefront. And they literally had like every single Essex and minifigs thing known to man. And yeah, that was a cool freaking place. But different times, different times. All right, let's get Mr. Wet Palette out. Why? Because we need to thin this paint. Well, I just realized that I gotta pay the Russians tonight. I gotta bring vodka with me. Ooh, we'll see if we can handle that. We'll just have little sips. How about that? Hey, it's just getting into the spirit of it. See what I did there? Well, it's not like I'm going to have Russian beer. Is there such a thing? Probably. If there's Italian beer, there's got to be Russian beer. Oh, creaky chair. We got to turn this thing upside down today and see what we can lubricate. All right, where's the magic sauce here? Nope. Nope. Okay. I guess it dried out. No, it's been a few days. Let's just clean this up and make sure there's not any residue from colors, although it really doesn't transfer over, but like it's never even been used. This stuff is very non-stick. You can have this stuff in here and then put a color with paint in it, and the paint won't transfer out. It's almost like oil and water. It's pretty amazing. I don't know what it is. It's got some lubricationary properties. Vallejo airbrush thinner. Let's close this one up. Leave this one open. All right. Yeah, see, look. I want to put some black in here. It doesn't transfer out. It's crazy. If this was water, I'd turn the whole water gray. I don't know what the hell's in this stuff, but I'm impressed. See if this brush is going to be the one or it's going to misbehave. Let's try this again. Because we definitely need one we can control for this. That one might be a little too long. Let's see. Let's get one of the ones that I've been using for like a face. This one. And that's not all my brushes. I still got what? 3 more packs of them? Whoa. I don't go through brushes that fast. Here we go. Here we go. This is what we're looking at. All right, let's see here. What are we going to do first? Let's do this one that's got the spot on it. I've heard of people using Sharpies. The problem with using a Sharpie is it's just way too, it could just bleed. So I tried it and it didn't work for me. It scared me. I had scary experiences. Think options. Not sure what that's in relation to. Hey, if you got a method that you like, man, share it. But there's some people that just want to do things a different way, and that's okay. That's what freedom's all about, or that used to be what freedom was all about. Who knows what it's about now? Um, I know that there's a lot of things that they try to fix that, in my opinion, aren't broke. Plastic figures, I don't see any reason to get plastic figures. I like the heft. The only advantage I see about plastic figures is that if you drop them on the floor because they don't weigh anything, they can't crush themselves and damage them. But I luckily only um, I luckily only have dropped my figures on the floor a handful of times, maybe only once in in many years. Yeah, it's going to take a while, but it is what it is. It does look a little better than just leaving the edges white. But the nice thing is I don't have to worry about it sliding on me now. But yeah, sometimes they invent things that just never be invented. Driverless cars. I'm not lining up to buy one. Chestnut spears aren't the only thing out there to solve problems. I've never bought any. I've never bought any. They can't be found. Everybody's always out of them. I just thought they looked cool because they had a built-in tip. Like normally, I would have not used these lances, right? Because they're white metal lances. But look at the shape of them. They're freaking stellar shaped lances. They're probably the nicest shaped lances I've ever seen. So how could I not? And they're not the soft alloy like Essex, you know. So um, needles are a great option. I call them needles, but sometimes they're pins. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they were just available locally, so yeah, they work. You'd be surprised how many people are like to using them because they think they're going to get poked. So just file the ends out off, man. Difficult. Um, what I hate doing is cleaning the flash off figures. I think that that's a responsibility of the uh, of the caster, you know. And the RMAC. Have you ever tried planting using lenses? Hmm? I've started using a lens from Amazon and find it great for 15 millimeter, 10 millimeter small detail. Little after uncomfortable after a few hours. Oh, you're talking. Oh, painting. Oh, you're talking about. Oh, okay. So I am naturally excited. I've been since 7 or 8 years old. I'm gonna be 50 soon. I started painting when I was 15, 16, something like that, and just painted with glasses to correct the 20/20. Worn contacts exclusively since I was 18, and painted in 20/20 vision with contacts in until I turned about 45. Okay, something like that. I'm not going to say 45 is when everything goes to shit. It doesn't. 45 is when everything starts changing. So what I did was I was starting to not be able to focus on things that were close. And it was really weird, okay? Because as someone who's nearsighted and has been nearsighted their whole life, it's very weird to be able to not see things that are close. It first started off like it looked like glare. I didn't know what not being able to see up close is like because I always have been able to. When I realized what it was, I'm like, well, let me just go buy some readers from Walgreens. These are plus 325s. So I started using this for probably a year. And I'm like, oh, okay. It wasn't that I needed to see better, it just needed to focus the stuff. I know for those of you guys that always have had this problem, it's like, oh, how can you not know what it is? I'm telling you, as someone nearsighted, it makes no sense logically to not be able to see something close. That something's too close to your eye. Anyhow, at some point, after some time of using them, I realized, what if I just painted without my contacts in? So that's what I do now. So my contacts, my vision hadn't changed until that point, probably in 30 years. I've been at a negative 6.5. So for those of you guys that don't have glasses, what that means is that's equivalent of having a plus 6.25 magnifying glass on you at all times. And you're so I know this is going to sound stupid, especially if you guys are in the eye business, but I didn't realize I thought I just had bad vision my whole life. I don't. It's just focused improperly. So my focal point, instead of being, I don't know, 100 feet away, 50 feet, 20, whatever it is, it's 6 inches from my face. So when I started painting in that, I realized I don't have bad vision. It's focused improperly. And I'm walking around basically with a magnifying glass in my eye, and I have to put contacts in to change that. So now I just paint without contacts in. So I've got a pair of glasses that, that to get back to 2020, which I can't drive with because I see things out of the corner of my eye. These are actually really thin compared to how they used to be. But I need to put them on to go over here to the computer and see what you guys wrote, you know. But so I just paint without contacts in, and it's totally comfortable. And of course, now I've got to use, and now to make that matter even worse, in the last year, I have a pair of readers and stuff at the lowest setting, really to do paperwork and stuff at the office and to like look at the computer. I was trying to play some game on my laptop and I couldn't see all the detail. And I realized, oh, that's messed up too. So it's been a change, but as someone who has had the opposite vision issue as I'm experiencing now, in other words, I can see things up close but not far away. When that gets taken from you too, it's really weird. It's not really disappointing because it's a condition that everybody has. But it's just really strange that you're getting it from both ends. You can't see things far away and you can't see things up close. But honestly, being nearsighted is probably worse than. Oh, so to give you an idea, these are progressives, right? Which I've never bought a pair of progressives before. I got these about 6 months ago. First progressives ever. And I remember getting them, going to the doctor's office, and they go, "Well, if they don't work for you, if you have difficulty adjusting to them, you can bring them back." What they don't realize is that I've gone like 2 years of wearing my glasses like this at the end of my nose with regular because I couldn't see up close. So yeah, no, they're great, but I have zero intention of ever painting with glasses in 2020 vision again. Like, why would I when I can paint with a plus 6.5? So, yeah, I paint with lenses, my built-in ones. I'm, but that's really strange that I didn't realize that it, I really don't have bad vision. It's that it was just focused improperly. So about 3 years ago, when I first started painting without contacts, it wasn't that I can see things I couldn't see before, because I could see them before in 2020. I'm just enjoying. I'm enjoying looking at the castings more when they're so much bigger. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm enjoying the process more because I'm right here. I can't. I'm not distracted by other things because it's cloudy. I don't know. Does that make any sense? But yeah, I paint without contacts now, and I should have been doing it all along, but I didn't know any better. It never would have occurred to me. Never would have occurred to me. I'm stupid like that. Oh well. I can't be a genius about everything. No, I like to say is by the time you have your own body figured out of how it works, you're gonna die. You know. Everybody has their own methods. What I can't understand is people that paint in midair. That's what I call it. So somebody who's holding a figure with one hand, and their hand isn't supported on anything, they're just painting in midair. No, I always have. The figure's always propped on the table. And not because it's just too stressful otherwise, you know? So like here, yeah, I'm painting like this, but there's a corner resting on the table. If I'm on the stand, I always have one that's resting up against the edge of this. That Games Workshop, they have like a painting handle or something like that. That would never work for me. Well, it's 28 millimeter for 28 millimeter. I guess maybe it can make it smaller, but that I can't paint in midair. I'm not poo-pooing stuff. If you can do that, do it. You know, you like your method, do it. And this is actually turning out really well. It just takes a long time. So yes, I paint with lenses, but I didn't used to. It never occurred to me. Well, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Of course, the edge is going to keep, the end is going to keep. Maybe we can fix that now. We'll come back and do that. But, oh, got to do the backside. Yeah, perfect. Boom. Next. Vodka shots tonight, I guess. It figures I got to go to work tomorrow. I really hate Mitch's schedule sometimes. He's off when nobody else is off. But then it was also pointed out to me that because he's off on days that I normally wouldn't be trapped, there's less chance of us going out on a weekend, and I can't game that week because it's on a weekend. I just don't like working the next day that after we game. But usually it means I oversleep on the weekends and come Monday night, I don't get any sleep usually, or get very, very little. So there's no point in me wearing one of those big vision type thing because I've seen them. Like you could get one and it goes up to 3.5. I'm like, okay, well I got 6.5 built in and don't have to wear that thing. So they don't really work for me. But anyways, wearing readers and stuff like that when you're looking at the computer isn't as annoying as having to put glasses on to drive. No, it's the distance stuff is so. Those of you guys that have had are farsighted your whole life, that's not important, man. Putting glasses to see things up close is a lot easier than not being able to see 30 feet from you. You know, that's now that I have both, I can tell you. Now I got an advantage when I'm doing this, but just your everyday life, no. It's the other one's a pain in the ass. But you don't pick what you get to. You don't pick what you get handed. You just got to deal with it. All right. Next. This is pretty thin down, almost like a thick wash. I just don't want to get too much paint on there and just get out of control. Now this one's bordered in black, so this one should be easy to do. Oh, be humble. Be humble, or you're going to get your ass beat. It's a lot easier when both sides are even. Or it's bordered in black already. So we'll see how many battles we can do tonight. I know we can do 3. 4 sometimes is pushing it. This army only has one shooter, so that's usually something that makes the battles take a little bit longer. So that may be okay. Now we do the difficult ones. Oh boy. Everybody quiet. Okay, I'll be quiet too. Oh wait. That's no good. What time is it? 7:45. I can't believe that at one time I used to sleep until like 11. What a waste. What a total waste. I don't like sleeping. It's a waste. Only time I like sleeping is taking a nap when I'm on a cruise. Basically, we wake up, it turns every day into 2 days. So you get more cruise days. Let's do that one last. Let's do the big one. Oh, oh, this one's going to be challenging. All right, here we go. This one, warning, this one may not turn out well. I just have to do the best we can. I could just do the edge in red instead of black, but I'm going to just do it in black. It'll work out, I hope. Or, a darker color. It might not actually be black black. It's because I am watering this down some. Just for contrast purposes. Now, the only good thing about ordering stuff is that I've overbought for so many years that I don't need to buy anything. And I haven't bought stuff in a long time. I'll go to a flea market and, get figures. I'm like, I'm not leaving that there for $1. But, they came out with new figures for so and so. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can make them with what I already have. Sure, they're not as good figures as those, but I already have them. Doesn't mean I won't buy any, but I'm not going to buy an entire army. I might buy a pack or two to supplement or one specific look, or maybe somebody came out with some leaders that I want to include in my army. But the meat and potatoes, I already have, unless I'm going to do something totally different. And I've actually never been told, you have too many figures, you can't buy anymore. No, it's kind of self-imposed. It feels good to use the things you already have. I don't think she's ever said that. Don't give her any ideas. Like, like I'm building a papal army and somebody makes maybe a figure of a pope. They don't. But if they did, yeah, go out and buy it and maybe some other, and then a pack of knights to supplement it. I just don't need it, you know? Litco stands. I don't buy a huge amount of them when I order them. I think I've only ordered a 50 pack once. But I figure if I order a bunch of stands, something will happen and I'll stop painting and then I'm stuck with a bunch of stands. Like, that's not a smart move. You keep yourself on a tight leash. Back in the day when you could travel to a hobby store, you get so excited about going and seeing what you buy, but now it's like I'm not even that interested in buying stuff. I want to see things, but I'm not buying things just because it's for sale, unless I absolutely have to have it. So yeah, the catalyst for doing the Papal Army is we get to see some litters in action because some crazy stuff's going to happen with litters. Otherwise, might have done something like Comnenian Byzantine or pre-feudal Scots, and both those armies are still on the to-do list. They'll get done, but just next, I came across that litter thing, and I'm like, oh, we got to do this. People need to see litters in action. What was the whole reason I built the Hungarians? Was for war wagons. It's about as good as that's going to get. It's not going to be perfect. It just is what it is, you know? Painting on a Monday. What's the world coming to? Happy Memorial Day to you as well. I keep forgetting, Memorial Day is for the fallen, and Veterans Day is for the not fallen. I do not have any in my family. I tried to join the military many years ago. It didn't work out. They didn't want my skin condition. Okay. You don't get me now. It all worked out. It all worked out for the better, I think. You guys aren't going to be able to see this because the angle it's at. Maybe if we do that. Maybe. Now, how do I get my light back? There we go. No, I don't want to move every 2 years. I have chaos in my workplace, but not at home. You don't need it in both directions. I get to paint on a Monday too sometimes. It's getting too thin. I need to add more. Let's add more black. Yeah, this hobby of ours takes forever. But it's better than watching television. That takes forever too, and you got nothing to show for it. This at least, like, okay, I'll paint these Russians. Don't have to paint those sons of bitches anymore. And then they get to be movie stars and be in movies and stuff. We'll see how they do. I've already played this army in a tournament. I didn't have the knights for it. In 2 tournaments, actually. So they've gone 5-2. So even if they lose all the games tonight, I'll at least be 50-50. That's a way to think positive, right? Ah, they'll look good doing it, even if they lose. So yeah, even though I'm doing this by hand, I didn't have to paint this flag. This is taking longer than I had I hand painted my own damn flag. So I'm wondering, I don't see myself buying any more of these products. Not because they're not any good, but they just don't do anything for me. I mean, yeah, they look good, but look how much time I'm having to spend painting the edges of these damn flags. I guess I could do it faster, but man, I don't want to get sloppy, and because this is unforgiving. You're done. You can't just repaint from the other side. All right, do the tops here. Tell you what, I'm not dreading going to work too much tomorrow. Because for starters, I get to drive a stick shift on the way there. Yay! Oh, I'm like a freaking little kid, man, at Christmas, I tell you. Unbelievable. Been far too long without a clutch pedal. Far too long. 13 years. You guys in Europe are lucky because every vehicle's available with a clutch. You're unlucky because you're gas. You know, you need like another mortgage just to buy petrol. I'm sure your vehicles are more expensive too. Huh. Print your flags off computer. I have too. That's how my Burgundians were. But there's nothing this complicated that's available on the computer. They're nice, but they don't need to be this nice. And they would be just fine, you know. All right, last one. And then we'll come back and glue little tails on this one. It looks like they're coming apart. I try to do a good job of it, but glue the whole thing that way. Now that they're lined up, now I can go in there and do it. Okay. That's as much time as I'm going to spend on this. I've spent enough as it is. So let's go ahead and glue these two together. I'm sure this white glue, whatever the hell it is no good anymore. Of course not. At some point, you just got to say, you know, that's good enough. At the end of the day, I could just keep spending time on it. It's not going to bring back the fact that some of the flags aren't, some of the tails aren't lined up. You know, there's going to be mistakes. You just need to just move on. Okay. Now, we could probably open this up a little bit. Okay. Takes care of that. Any other tails? It's kind of coming undone a little bit. Man, it's a creaky chair. Anyone else? Nope. 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 Maybe this one. Okay. Let's flat coat this. Let's flat coat these things. Let's move this wet palette out of the way. Little bits and pieces of the flag cutting. All right. No, let's use a fresh one. Let's use a fresh brush. I guess I could use a flat one. Man, I'm dying to find uses for these flat brushes. They're not as useful as you would think. You'd think like, oh, you need to be easy to use a flat one. I don't think they're worth a damn. This is what happens when you get these cheap brushes that suck. I'm gonna have to trim that one up to make it useful for anything. All right, should we use a flat one? Yeah, we'll use this one. All right, that'll work. Okay. Don't use pink from the top. Great, right. Normally I do, but this stuff's weird. This is weird stuff. All right, let's start with something small. Let's make sure we don't put white glue on it. I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world, but all right, let's okay. Do the big one last. Let's move this the hell away from here. Let's see something bad happen in there. a big one. If this was enamel, it dries quicker, so it gets tacky. And you got to be careful that you don't touch it while it's tacky, or bad things can happen. All these things look, milky white, and then when it dries, they dry clear. So I got to do a video one time where I'm painting the final seal coat on my figure, so you can see how thick I put it on there. I mean, it's super thick and no issues there. The prince. We'll have fun making fun of this guy. The ruler formerly known as Alexander Nevsky. All right. That's it. We just got to wait for these boogers to dry. We should have some good weather today. So maybe I'll finally take some pictures of them outside. Outside is the lighting conditions outside are just so much better than this light is wonderful, but you wouldn't be able to know it from this video because it's kind of poor. Yeah. Only gripe with this army so far is that, where is he? This figure right here. He's incorrigible. I try to do the best of it, but he's stabbing forward on a horse that's long, and he's going to be issues backing up against people, and like he fits there, but we may have to replace him with another one when you go into combat because he just doesn't mesh well. But had I known that, I wouldn't have used this horse. There's nothing wrong with a horse, but he's just kind of a long pose sticking out. It's not too bad. But it's okay. When I glued them, I did the best I could because I didn't want the tail to come all the way out either. But I just shouldn't have put those two together. But hey, we're gonna always keep making mistakes. We just need to pick. You don't have ones you can't deal with. Okay, so a couple things. Let's move these guys off to the side while they dry, which shouldn't take too long. And I don't have a camp for them. They're gonna use probably just a little log camp that I use for the Romans, whatever the time being. I do have some buildings for them. These are from my Eastern Front microarm days. Where are they? There's like 3 or 4. Oh, these buildings too. And this one. This is all the buildings. So let's glue a screw on here. All right, where is the super glue? I could just use the stickum stuff, but the bottom of this is pretty smooth. It's not going to work really well. No idea who makes these. Probably JR Miniatures or somebody like that. Let's try doing this, see how we do. And if it falls down, then we'll do something else. All right. pull these off. And these. Something that's really expensive in the United States and cheap in Europe is cork. Maybe not these stoppers in particular, but just in general. A lot of hobbyists in Europe use cork a lot, and it is extremely expensive for what it is. These are time cast 17th to 20th century Eastern and Central Europe buildings. Sorry, we're going to push that envelope a little bit earlier. Let's see what we got here. The stuff that Timecast makes is just gorgeous. Yep, they're in the UK. You guessed it. Here's a little brick building. We won't use that one. I mean, we won't use it right now. A chicken coop looking thing. Another brick one. What's this? A barn type place. Okay. Okay. All right, let's glue these down too. This is why you file these down, because I'm throwing them over here and I'm not worried about getting poked. I'm not going to work on this stuff next. I just want it prepped for when I do. We're good to go. My papal army will not have any, well, I'm not going to say that. It may have some printed flags, depending on how complicated I want to make them. I've been finding illustrations on Wikipedia and so forth of flags, and they're not shaded. They're just, if it's a flag that's red and white, you have red, and then you have white. There's no shading in them. And then putting it in my editor. What's it called? I've used it a little bit. Autodesk Sketchbook, and painting it with colors, the same method that I use with the miniatures, and then printing it out, and that seems to work pretty well. Okay, the Papists. Okay, so if you guys go on the website for Merliton, Miniatures. I didn't know this was here. There's a listing at the top that says flags and shields. So they actually make decals for shields. And if you come down to paper flags 15 millimeter, they make flags based on certain battles. So just running off the bat, they've got Campaldino in 1289, Crusades, Europe between the 12th and what is that? 14th century. Fulsata, 1249. 100 Years' War. Italia, which that one means that's like unification of Italy and later. Flags right off the Manesse Codex. Montaperti, 1260. Napoleonics, Penins, Renaissance, and Teutonic Wars, Warringen, Risorgimento. I think that's the unification of Italy. I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyhow, so three of these battles, Montaperti, Campaldino, and Volsata, all take place in Italy during the time period that I'm kind of interested in. So I've already gone through here before. So one of the allies of the Papal States is Bologna. So a lot of these knights will be Bolognese knights. And yeah, I'm not going to get, I just want to show you where this is. I don't think I'm going to get into that today. I think that's a little bit more involved. I want to do a little bit more research before I just start painting stuff. They also do shield covers also for the same battles, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they do stuff for Volsata and stuff, but so these guys are not familiar with these the war between the Holy Roman Empire and the Pope. There's pretty much two sides. There's the Ghibellines and there's the Guelphs. The Guelphs were the city states that were on the side of the Pope, and the Ghibellines were the ones that sided with the Empire. And some switch sides and stuff like that. It's pretty complicated, but if you look at what what ones were on what side and what battle, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out what's going on. So these would be I would be interested in Guelph stuff for this army. So because these are just allies. I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter, but because I know when the information is given there, it's like I don't mind putting the correct ones if I can, if I can do that. So I'm looking at the shield transfers right here. Florence, I believe this battle was Florence against the Ghibellines, and which one am I in? Siena. Siena was on the Empire side, and Ghibelline cities. No, we're interested in Guelph stuff. All right, let's look at Fulsata. And you can go on Wikipedia and find out. Okay, Fulsata was Bologna versus other Ghibelline states. Okay, so any of these knights that are Bolognese knights would be fair game. Okay, and they also have these flags for Bologna Military Company. That can be some of the foot as well. Does it tell you who these guys are when you click on this? It does. So you get a little, let's see how it comes out, okay? But you have little icons here. Can you even enlarge this? No. But you can see one of them has a rooster. He's definitely going to be in my army. This is definitely going to be one of those guys. And that guy is named Alberto Galuzzi, Comandante Fanteria. So his name is Alberto Galuzzi, and he's the commander of the infantry. Okay, so maybe he's not going to be on back. Maybe I'm going to do. I can't pass up putting a on somebody's things. But there's a lot of really useful information there on this website. So. Yeah, they must be scaled for using their figures, which I have no problem with their figures. The problem is I already have tons of stuff. It'd be the ones that would be Italian communal, and their knights. I believe they share some of their knights with the Teutonics as well. So anyhow, that's what I'm going to go into and pick some of those guys and build on from that. But I'm definitely going to have a guy with a rooster on the shield. It's just too much brave for Robin. Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's not a black rooster. Technically, it's a black cock. So, we're going to have fun with that as well, of course. But anyhow, there's lots of cool patterns. I could just make them up out of nowhere, but they tended to be pretty colorful. So, anywho, what time is it? How long have we been on here? 2.5 hours? Yeah, I'm not going to get into this today. I got to do like one-to-one scale painting. I think we're going to call it. So I just wanted to show you guys how we did the flags this morning. And yeah, check them out. The battle video should be on film today, and it'll be on probably going to have it up by Tuesday, I would imagine. Maybe Wednesday, depending on how long it takes to process. But check it out when it comes out. You guys will be notified, of course. Obviously, if you're subscribed to the channel, it's easier to find out about that. And enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. And we'll catch you guys next time we're on. All right, folks.